The IDF has reached the depths of Rafah in the Gaza Strip, and we will clarify some details about an attack on some senior Hamas officials that resulted in civilian casualties. Later in the report, we will take a closer look at the scope of Iran's aid to Hezbollah that was revealed this week. We will also shed some light on the economic boycotts of Israel that were announced by Turkey. Are they hurting Turkey even more than they're hurting Israel? Let's dive into the details. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your boots on the ground report about what is happening in Israel on the 235th day of the war against Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, and the Houthis. We begin our report in the central Gazan city of Jabalia, where soldiers of the 460th Brigade combat team are engaged in heavy fighting with Hamas terrorists. Several battalions from the combat engineers, armor, and infantry have been deployed in support, and together they have uncovered several tunnels along with stockpiles of weapons and ammunition and demolished them so they cannot be used by terrorists any longer. Many of these weapon stockpiles were found because Hamas terrorists that surrendered told interrogators from the 504th Field Intelligence Units of the IDF where they are, and this saved time and lives on both sides. That was the case this week during the fighting in Jabalia, and many of the weapons and ammunitions that were discovered came from just one such interrogation. Some weapons were found being stored in UNRWA bags inside the school. The soldiers continued their operations in Jabalia as the Hamas terrorists attempted to use civilians as human shields and fired anti-tank missiles at the IDF from inside schools. A tank from the 198th Battalion was hit by one of these missiles, but it was able to continue operating. The terrorists were eventually overcome, and the search of the school resulted in finding weapons hidden inside UNRWA bags. That's United Nations bags. This is yet another example of how Hamas uses both the United Nations agencies in Gaza as well as their own civilian population as human shields to hide behind while they fight against the IDF. Other examples of this can be seen on an almost daily basis all over the Gaza Strip. Another IDF unit was deployed in the central Gaza neighborhood of Zabra for the past several weeks with the aim of destroying terrorist infrastructure, eliminating terrorists, locating and destroying the underground infrastructure. In the last 24 hours, they located an 800-meter-long tunnel running 18 meters underneath the city with assistance from the Yalom Combat Engineering Unit. They mapped and demolished that tunnel. In the process of exploring it, prior to setting the demolition charges, they discovered large quantities of weapons and ammunition, as well as intelligence materials, which will be useful in finding more tunnels and planning future operations against this terrorist group, Hamas. This action significantly damages the ability of Hamas to operate in the central Gaza area and strengthen the IDF's control over that location. Please continue to spread the truth, share, and follow us. Please take a minute to press the follow button and subscribe to this YouTube channel so that together we can share the truth with as many people as possible. Now let us turn to a story making headlines all over the world. Overnight on Monday, the Israeli Air Force carried out a strike on a terrorist target in Rafah, in the Gaza Strip. The target included leaders of the Hamas terrorist network in the West Bank, some of whom had blood on their hands from murdering Israeli citizens in the recent past. The attack was carried out based on primarily intelligence information about the terrorist location in this area of Rafah. Prior to the attack, many steps were taken to reduce the chance of harm to non-involved people, to civilians, including checking from the air, the use of precision weaponry, and additional intelligence information, based on which it was estimated that no harm was expected to non-involved civilians. Also, contrary to reports in various media outlets, The attack was not carried out in the humanitarian area in El Mawasi, where the IDF called on the population to evacuate. However, despite all the precautions, there were casualties among uninvolved civilians, and Israeli officials have acknowledged this, while the IDF has issued a statement of regret for any injury to those that are not involved in the fighting. The incident is being investigated by the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the mechanism of the IDF. This is an independent body responsible for examining unusual incidents in combat. Preliminary results from the investigation indicate that shrapnel that hit a fuel tank caused the large fire in the Rafah refugee camp, and this was reported Tuesday morning on the American ABC network. Also, according to the report, the fuel tank that was set on fire was 100 meters away from the target of the airstrikes, and it caused the tents in the vicinity to catch fire. A U.S. official told ABC News that the United States does not have enough information to confirm or deny this assessment, and it is still investigating the matter independently and will make a decision how to respond at a late time. Meanwhile, there are reports in Arab media portals that IDF tanks have penetrated deep into Rafah in an indication of an expected ground operation. Here at TBN Israel, we will continue to update on the subject, but please now more than ever, the truth needs your help. So please support us by sharing these videos and subscribing to this YouTube channel. Turning back to the situation in Rafah, there was an unusual incident on the border with Egypt over the last 24 hours, which resulted in the death of an Egyptian soldier. Both Israeli and Egyptian sources confirmed the incident and said it was being investigated. A senior Egyptian source told the country's media that investigative committees have been established to find out the circumstances and take the necessary steps to prevent the recurrence of such events in the future. He also used the term security guard to describe the soldier who was accidentally killed, in an apparent attempt to calm public opinion in Egypt and perhaps also in Israel, and emphasized that it was not a direct confrontation between the two armies, Egypt and Israel. According to him, a preliminary investigation shows that IDF forces exchanged fire with Hamas terrorists near the border, which resulted in shooting in several directions. An Egyptian soldier who was nearby on his side of the border when the fighting began was killed in an exchange with Israeli forces when he took measures to deal with the source of the shooting. This is a very serious incident, but I believe that the excellent relationship between Israel and the Egyptian army will allow it to be resolved quickly and without further repercussions. It's important to remember that similar incidents have occurred in the past, and there are established procedures for dealing with this. In the meantime, I want to extend my condolences to Egypt for this unfortunate incident. Please continue to spread the truth, share, and follow us. And most importantly, remember that you can pray for the peace of Jerusalem, because prayer makes a big difference. Now let's turn to the situation on Israel's northern border. In a study published by the researcher Boaz Shapira, it was discovered that Hezbollah has Iranian surface-to-air missiles which are capable of shooting down Israeli aircrafts, and some of them are believed to be stationed in Syrian territory. According to a report published yesterday in the Kuwaiti news portal El Jarida, the organization intends to continue fighting as long as the war in the Gaza Strip continues, and is convinced that the United States will increase the pressure on Israel to end the war as the date of the presidential elections approaches. The sources cited in the article also revealed that Hezbollah leader Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah is planning a surprise move on two levels. The first, according to them, includes the use of weapons that have not yet been used in this campaign, including long-range precision missiles and surface-to-air missiles that the organization will try to launch at the Air Force planes. Exposing the fact that Hezbollah holds such advanced capabilities is very important and testifies to the scope and level of Iranian assistance to the organization through the arms corridor and to the importance Tehran attaches to transferring air defense systems to it. Hezbollah currently has a number of advanced air defense systems made in Iran capable of threatening the activities of the Israeli Air Force not only in the skies of Lebanon, but perhaps also in the Israeli airspace. Some of these capabilities were revealed in recent months with the downing of 2 IDF drones by Hezbollah. Today, Tehran possesses more advanced air defense systems and missiles with better capabilities, and it is possible that Iran transferred such systems to Lebanon and that their existence will be revealed in the future. Another likely scenario is that in light of their relatively advanced capabilities and the improved range of these systems, they were placed on Syrian soil from where they can cover the territory of Lebanon and also parts of the State of Israel. Please continue to spread the truth with us. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel so that together we can reach more people with the truth of what is happening in Israel, in the Gaza Strip, and in the Middle East. Everything that is happening in Israel affects you in the United States, in Europe, and wherever you are in the rest of the world. So please join us in prayer. First of all, for knowing what is happening in Israel, and then for the peace of Jerusalem. Speaking of Iran, 2 reports published by the International Atomic Energy Agency this week indicate that this evil regime is now enriching uranium to an almost military level at a constant rate, while talks to improve its cooperation with the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, are stalled. In the last 24 hours, the Wall Street Journal news portal revealed that Washington put pressure on European countries not to criticize Iran over its nuclear program. According to the report, the pressure on European countries was done with the aim of not bringing about further escalation between the West and Iran until the United States presidential elections in November. If you'd like to receive more videos like this one from Israel and from this region, please consider making a financial donation to TBN Israel by clicking the donate button here on YouTube or by going to our website at www.tbn.org/Israel. One last story to share with you today comes from Turkey, where President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has imposed economic sanctions on Israel that are hurting his own country's economy more than it's hurting Israel. A quick look at the trade balance between Turkey and Israel says it all. Israel is an important export destination for Turkey, the 10th largest, which in 2023 reached around $7 billion, while Israeli exports to Turkey at that time amounted to $2.4 billion. While Israel will have no difficulty after some preparation in finding substitutes for the products it purchased from Turkish suppliers and manufacturers, the damage to Turkish exports is more significant even without including the losses that Turkey will suffer in the field of tourism and aviation. The very announcement of the Turkish boycott is a violation of the rules of the OECD, the International Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and of various international obligations Turkey has under the treaties it has signed. Although in the current political climate, it is probably not expected that the United States or other countries will impose sanctions on Turkey to punish it for those violations, it is clear that Turkey is already paying a price for taking this step. For one thing, it will further reduce its already low chances of being accepted into the rank of the European Union, and Erdogan's vocal support for Hamas will not help him in relations with the United States either. We will continue to update you on this as well, but please continue to spread the truth with us, share and follow us, and most importantly, pray for the peace of Israel. This is a war between good and evil, and we are going to win because God is on our side. So please unite with us in prayer for the peace of Jerusalem.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.